Freedom of speech. In India, this is a fundamental right. It is guaranteed by the Constitution. But what happens when this right is monetized? Well, this is the question India's apex court has tried to answer. That's the Supreme Court of India. It has heard a case against social media influencers, those making insensitive jokes about persons with disabilities. The apex court has called it an abuse of free speech. It said, when you commercialize free speech, you should not hurt sentiments. And that's not all. The Supreme Court has urged broader action. It has asked the centre to regulate influencers, to come up with guidelines, to set up guardrails and a mechanism to balance freedom of speech with accountability. So what would such a framework look like? Is it too idealistic to be true? And how do other countries regulate influencers? Here's a report.
When you are commercializing free speech, you should also bear in mind not to hurt the sentiments of certain sections of the society. This is what India's apex court has said. This week, the Supreme Court heard a case against 5 comedians who had been accused of making insensitive jokes about persons with disabilities. This included Samir Raina. He hosted a show on YouTube called India's Got Latent, along with 4 of his co-comedians. The court has said that the comedians abused freedom of speech and expression, that they commercialized free speech while hurting people's sentiments. The court has directed the 5 comedians to issue a public and an unconditional apology on their respective platforms. But that's not all. The Supreme Court says that there should be accountability and that freedom of expression must be exercised responsibly. After all, in recent years, a range of influencers have come to the fore. They're not just dancing to trendy songs or baking banana bread. They have tens of millions of followers. They are changing opinions, shaping minds, spreading information, and in many cases, misinformation. Social media trends have come and gone, but regulation has been scrambling to catch up with influencers. Now, the Supreme Court of India says not anymore. India's top court has urged the union government to form guidelines to regulate conduct on social media, to set up guardrails that cover everything from influencer reels to podcasts. Of course, this may be easier said than done. After all, many fear that regulation comes at the cost of freedom. So the key issue is to balance free speech with accountability and dignity. And it's a complex task, but a crucial one. Because as the court points out, unless effective consequences are framed, police can zigzag their way out of liability. Consequences must be proportionate to the harm done. Which is why the country wants to work towards a framework that can regulate content creation. And India is not an isolated case here. Country after country has tried to bring in laws that regulate influencers and protect users on social media. Like the Online Safety Act in the UK, which puts greater responsibility on online platforms and content creators to save social media users, especially children, from harm. Many countries are working on joining the club, like Australia and Canada, where laws have been proposed to curb misinformation by content creators.
We are setting a new community standard.
But building such policies is tricky business, like in Germany, where the law compels platforms to remove illegal hate speech within 24 hours, or in Ethiopia, where the law criminalizes online hate and disinformation. But it has been criticized for restricting political speech. The hurdles cannot be ignored, but countries are making moves to boost the transparency and accountability of content creation. After all, the global influencer economy stands at $33 billion, so it's important that big money comes with big responsibility.